Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to Pinball FX2. Today we're doing CastleStorm. It says, apparently Zen makes more than just pinball games, so they've licensed their own game, CastleStorm, out to make a pinball game. This will be very interesting, I suppose, because we've seen a pretty high percentage here. Probably over 50% of the tables we played so far not really being up to my liking. Maybe I'm just overly critical, but if we see their effort on their own license, their own property, and that turns out to be a lot better, that would be very, very interesting. Let's see what the achievements are. Defeat 50 incoming berserkers on that table and defeat the dragon in Sky Falls. So I don't know what CastleStorm is. I'm thinking it's probably a either small, like indie style game or a mobile game. And it's probably not a mobile game, just thinking about when this probably was made. There weren't that many. Mobile wasn't as big. Let's see. Already, I like the color scheme, and look, it's got the 3 triangles upside down, kind of like Zelda. There's an upper play field with, seems to be 14 targets. Let's see, a 4 drop target thing. We haven't seen that in any other table. There's a crossbow there that may see some use, or it's just going to be in the way. And it's going to be in the way regardless, even if it does see some use. Seems like on the playfield we've got several missions, and every one of these lanes has like 3 different things that they have on there. Some pop-up bumpers there, a dragon in the middle, maybe that'll interact in some way. Yeah, seems like the center lane hits the dragon to lock the multi-ball. Now we just played Star Wars Droids, and that one had way too many ramps, and this one seems to have fixed that a little bit. Alright, so I think we're good. Let's get our... Well, let's take a moment here. View 1 again. View 1 wide, view 2. There we go. Look at how detailed the outer edges of the sides of the pinball are in comparison to any other table. They have been, this is an amazing amount of work. Every other table has barely had anything on the sides, and it's been very boring and just kind of lazy. Might as well not be there. Let's see, we're gonna have a donkey jump in there. Where's the skill shot? I bet it's probably in the back for the pop-up bumpers.
Maybe next time.
Now, for the license and the thematicness, it doesn't really matter. There's been a myriad of real pinball tables that are around medieval fantasy.
On your signal, sire.
So where's the indicator? It's just how much the donkey leans backwards.
For the king.
That's a terrible indicator for strength.
Our left is fortified. Our right is fortified.
That looks like a nice pop-up bumper.
Vikings!
There's only 3 flippers on the table. We've had a large number of tables that had 3, 4, 5. I think we saw a table with 6 flippers.
Excellent.
These guys are moving forward. That's so good.
Fine marksmanship, sire.
I think I just succeeded at a mission without even really having to try. Wow.
No luck, sire.
So that cross ramp over there on the right there, the ball almost went up. That's gonna be a difficult one to pull off. And it's tap keg, and it spells I don't know how that thing works. It seems to rotate potential different... Oh man, missed it. I guess I want to hit that center lane as much as possible. It's kind of a difficult shot, but not impossible.
No luck, sire? The dark force is overflowing. Address this matter.
And, like, started a quick multi-ball really easy. Here it seems like we've seen another easy table here, and I kind of like easy tables. We've seen a run of really hard tables where it's difficult to even play them for an hour because you're just constantly losing. Same Star Wars Droids was like that. Wild West was like that. Seems like I have to go up some of these ramps a little bit more than I would like to
chain it up
to spell some things, but darn it! Wow, you gotta be fast on that first hit.
No luck, sire?
The combo multiplier goes up to 15 times. Interesting.
On your
the score multiplier that goes up that high is gonna allow this table to reach a much higher score for good players. Because if I get that jackpot and it turns out to be 10 million, turning that into 15 million or 150 million, if I can do math correctly. Because I just lost the ball there. So sadly, as far as CastleStorm goes, I can't really comment too much there. Because I just don't know what it is. Let's look at the table guide. So, but assuming CastleStorm is a fantasy game, this is certainly a fantasy pinball table. Hit the flashing lanes in the order consecutively after new ball is launched. Skill shot, super skill shot, and storm shot. So that one, and that one. Oh, that is a really difficult skill shot, and it has nothing to do with the plunger, so I don't really think that is. All the main modes are locked at the start of the game and can be accessed in the mission hall. The initiation is scattered throughout the table. See, that kind of sucks. We're gonna have to do a lot to start a mission. Skyfall, spell it Skyfalls to unlock the mode in the mission hall. And I suppose once it's unlocked, you can do it only once. Maybe until you have to start all over again. Locking 3 balls after hitting the target right next to the ramp. That will start the multi-ball, it seems. Triumph. After successfully completing the game modes, unlock the mode in the mission hall. Once the mode is chosen, all the highlighted lanes should be hit one time. Be sure not to lose any of the balls in the meantime, or the mode will be failed immediately. That's typical, but not fun. Meet the Chief. Makes a Viking show up. Let's see. Kickbacks can be activated by hitting the bumper a required amount of times. Alright. That's kind of weird too. Bonus multiplier can be acquired by making the spinner spin the required amount of times. Well, it would be nice if it told me the required amount of times. Extra ball will be acquired by hitting 50 berserkers, topping the bonus multiplier, reaching the high combo, or completing 7 of the side modes. Castle Siege, launching the ball into the middle thing gets you up there. Shades, spout shades, and complete the multi-ball event. Both balls keep in play and the mode will be failed immediately. Impair the enemy is the Vikings again. Clear the way, spell not clear starts This mode, the trolls enter, and then you have to go up those ramps. Arms drill, Viking Princess, Prospering, Brutus, and Tap Keg. Spelling out Brutus or Tap Keg on the rollovers above the bumps starts the mode. Once the mode started, that's way too much work. Sheep them all. Hitting the left slingshot many times lowers the center ramp, launching the ball into the hole behind it starts the mode. Move and aim the ballista with the flipper buttons and shoot the sheep onto the berserkers appearing on the play field. Make sure not to let any of them near your flippers or the mode is lost. And see, that's kind of the most interesting thing in their minds, is that ballista mode, and you'll probably never even get to it.
For the king!
So I need to do the ramp
Maybe
on the left. Missed the skill shot. Alright. But I hit that, so
keep it in chains!
all locked immediately. Little secret drop down target, or like drop down target, what would be the... So I just gotta keep that in play, I guess. Sneak in target, or sunken target, I guess might be a good way to...
No!
I wish I knew the terminology of all these things, but frankly, they don't get explained enough.
For the kingdom!
As we kind of saw, the table guard and the table guide
Maybe next
was lacking in a lot of details, and just we need a basic help. There may very well be a basic help that I should go look at.
Chain it up!
Is that ball number 2 locked? So those drop down targets just come back up, I imagine, non-stop. There's nothing behind them.
Get them, sir!
I don't know if there's anything more to that table though. It's not its own mode. Going dim like this is cool. I don't have a problem with it, really. Since most of the time the tables are really well lit. So I have to hit all of these ramps, I assume. There's a lot of lanes here. I'm having trouble getting up.
Ended.
So that was the storm. Hurry up. And when you get both rows empty and hit behind it, it does do this castle attack. Interesting. Castle siege.
No luck, sire.
But see, that failed. That still wasn't good enough for it. And I think that was a pretty good play there. But to say failed.
Free me, Kenneth!
Vikings! On fire!
On your signal, sire.
So,
For the kingdom!
let's see. There's some elements here that are missing from your standard fantasy story. I
Maybe
haven't
next.
seen a princess to save. I didn't see a mode to actually fight the dragon. I'm not seeing any treasure.
Storm, hurry up!
I guess CastleStorm probably has to do with storming castles, and maybe it's a like competitive thing where you build castles and you attack them. There was a game that came out somewhat recently where you built a castle and then sent things to defeat your opponent's castle. But for the life of me, it probably wasn't the same game. It's not like they don't make games of this thing pretty commonly. And I think I'm getting the storm hurry-ups by spelling storm on the in lanes.
Did you forget about me?
Seems silly. It seems like it would be much wiser to get kickbacks or increase the multiplier by that. That's typically what pinball games do.
Sir Gareth?
The weird thing here is I'm gonna play so many of these Zen tables. I'm gonna eventually start shifting my opinion of what a average pinball table is like towards these Zen things. So I wanted to look here just for a second. I'm not gonna read it all, but if we go to help and then how to play, like primary goals, scoring guide, ball launchers, local hot seat, changing views, leaderboards, achievements, pinball wizard, laser boards, and display rotation. So we could rotate it to make it upside down or sideways if you wanted to turn your monitor in that way. Sadly, no, that kind of isn't enough information, though, for just the basics.
For the kingdom!
I want a straight, rudimentary 101 pinball explanation. This is what a flipper looks like. This is what a ramp looks like. This is what a target looks like. This is what a bumper looks like. This is what we mean when we say these terms. Because pinball has become so rare in the real world that I can clearly see that people would play this game. Maybe they'd play this game and have never seen a real world pinball, not know what real world pinball is. Think that this doesn't even exist and this is just some weird game about knocking a ball around.
Ready, sire.
For the king!
This table feels like if you get a good game, you'll probably get 30, 60, maybe even 100 million. Like, as far as the score. Yeah, so far I'm liking this table. It's not bad, and that's kind of unsurprising because obviously they're gonna put their own product in the good light. But if we're gonna really break it down, don't you think Star Wars license deserves to be in a better light than your own game? Like, wouldn't you want to maintain that relationship with LucasArts? They didn't have the license, I'm sure, when Disney got it, but
excellent.
Like, or Marvel. Marvel was owned by Disney by this point, absolutely. And all the Marvel tables that I've played so far have been really, really bad. It shows bad professionalism to not put you all in development of a table you've licensed as much effort as your own properties. And that was probably, I would guess, on a entire budget and production level that way, because I can understand an employee not being super into like doing a license, but they should still always do your best, particularly if you're an artist. Like, when you're making video games, that is your portfolio. That is your work. If you, I mean, you have to start throwing in a lot of excuses if you work on a terrible game, and you get a lot more praise if there's a great game and you barely did any work on it. So it's a double-edged sword. You might just be a quality assurance tester for, let's say the fictional Half-Life 3 comes out. It's the perfect game ever, and everybody loves it, and you worked on it as like a quality tester. You would probably have a very bright future for doing very little in that case. In the opposite, let's say you are a quality tester, same job, for Duke Nukem Forever. You're gonna get a lot of blame there that isn't your fault. Like,
Keep going.
so it behooves anybody who works in an artistic form like video game creation to make as big of a product, as best of a product as you possibly can ever do. Of course, life's not always that easy, and other factors get in the way, certainly. But
Storm, hurry up!
the fact that I see they can do better in this than the Marvel games, and there's a moderate, kind of big difference here. It seems like they played this table more. It seems like they thought this table through a little bit better. Darn it! I was wondering if maybe this castle siege with the storm would do something different.
Storm, hurry up! Ended!
I don't mind failing on a hurry up. I guess it's better than losing because you drained the ball into the gutter.
Did you forget about me?
I keep calling it the gutter, and I hope it actually is called the gutter.
You are a true hero!
Ah, there's a princess. It just took me a while to find her.
Sir Gareth?
Still not
On
certain
your
what
signal,
you
sire.
do to increase the score
For
multiplier.
the king!
And I really don't like the skill shot,
Maybe next time.
but everything else looks good. There's not a huge new gimmick here. It seems just like a basic table. The only thing we just haven't seen before is the multiple drop
That's just a
targets
scratch.
to a lock,
Chain it up.
to a ball lock section.
Storm, hurry up!
Is there something you could have done here that would have added to it? Not knowing the license, I'm not sure what it would be that you would want to add. I would probably get rid of the Viking modes and try to make this more of a standard pinball game. But the Viking mode really is just a virtual representation of something you could do in the real world. They could just have you hit all the ramps to defeat the Vikings, and then have a timer going that implies
Hurry
that
up! Storm, hurry up! Ended!
Storm Hurry Up is a difficult mode to win at, obviously. You have to hit 4 ramps. But, oh well.
Free me,
I'll
Gareth!
just keep
No luck, sire.
activating it. The waterfall dropped down too. You hit that a lot, and that's, I think, where you start missions. And I just don't have any missions unlocked. That would be my main criticism here, is the fact that you can't start at least one mission by default. Or, like, call it a training mission or something. Also, we have locked a lot of balls and yet to see a multi-ball.
Sire. Sire.
Yeah, I could imagine if you can just always get that. This playfield is actually better to play on because there's less of a gap between the two flippers. There's less of a. If you could get that score really high and then get really good at hitting the center lane every time you drain out of the upper playfield, you could continuously have the ball shot back up there and play pretty safely as long as you don't mess up and play forever and spend a couple hours racking up your score.
Did you forget about me?
Seems like it wants you to get 25,000 points and you're getting 3, 4, maybe 8,000 per target you hit.
Sire? Sire?
Castles. See, what's really funny is I've forgotten the name of this game, this table.
No!
So, was it CastleStorm? STORM instead of storming the castle? So they've really failed to do the simple thing of, yeah, CastleStorm, one word. Have me remember the name of their game or advertise the other game. And I think they could have solved that easily if they just said CastleStorm at the beginning of every new game. See, I couldn't have even gotten that skill shot if I had wanted it.
Watch yourself!
Because I was spending too much time in the pop-up bumpers. But that's alright. I like the fact that the pop-up bumpers are knocking the ball into each other instead of doing nothing or knocking the ball out of that area. These guys are getting closer, but I think we'll win. So we're doing the Storm hurry up and the Vikings.
Free me, Gareth!
Do the Vikings stop when I'm in the upper playfield, or is it a scenario where if I decide to stay in the upper playfield, I may actually lose the mission? That wouldn't be very fair. It's probably a bigger question to ask, can you make a castle storming game fun and a huge hit? Right now we have Castle Clashers being a cell phone game that's pretty fun, but it's actually, and I guess it is technically storming a castle. The trick there, of course, of Castle Clashers is that it is an incredibly short game that, even when it runs in overtime, only takes about 4 minutes to play one thing, so one game.
No!
Therefore, if you do badly against your opponent, you're out of it in 4 minutes, so not very many rage quits. And if you do well, you only have to do well for 4 minutes at longest, and usually if you're doing well, you can win in about 3 minutes. I could be a little bit wrong about how long the
dark force is overflowing. Address this matter.
Of course, the problem with Castle Crashers is it is totally a pay-to-win game that is making tons of money and advertises like crazy on YouTube, so you've probably seen these commercials that go, these are the rules of the game. Like, I've been playing it every day for probably
Keep it in
6 months, and there are clearly people I come across that have spent a lot of money on it to get a lot better. Hey, we finally unlocked a mode where me, who hasn't spent any money, is still kind of struggling to even stay competitive. But it's not like I'm totally losing every time. I'm still doing rather well, actually, considering I haven't bought anything. But it's certainly true that Castle Clashers is also a game that I will eventually bore of after about a year. Something new will come.
Sir Gareth.
Did you forget about me?
Yeah, as far as a castle sieging game, I don't think that you can make them last that long. The concept's too simplistic. There's not enough variety.
Sir Gareth?
And see, I've said it before, and I have to say it now. When I start talking about something else, that probably means I'm a little bored in this table. And in the way I kind of am, because
maybe next time.
I like this table, and I may even come back and play it. It's a pretty good table, but we've seen it all. There's not a lot new to say about it.
Such resilience.
I think if you're gonna go fantasy knights and dragons and damsels in distress and all of that, you're better off doing an RPG style game, playing onto that trope. A fantasy RPG action style game. And it is a field that has not been milked too much. It's totally not like zombies. I would gladly trade 4 or 5 zombie games every year for a fantasy theme game, and then you could just do skeletons. Skyrim is a great example of that.
Fine marksmanship, sire.
Our left is fortified.
In fact, they're about to release the Skyrim remastered. And
it's time to take the battle to them.
What's this? This is new. So now it wants me in the center area.
Perfect shooting.
Get up that center ramp.
Keep on shooting.
Come on. Oh, 2 balls. I didn't know there was 2 balls that could... Oh man, once we get up there, it seems like we got a ball return.
We have lost the battle, but not the war.
But see, I failed again. It's too difficult.
Sire?
And that is way too easy to drain out. It needs a peg in the middle that would pop down after a few seconds. That would fix that upper playfield so much. If for 5 seconds, once it falls down, the peg
Did you forget
just
about me?
stops it from going anywhere.
No luck, sire?
I have almost spelled out arms drills. I've been up that ramp so many times.
No!
And see, this is one of those tables that feels like you might make incremental progress as you play,
Work of a skilled hand, sire.
which is a sign of a good table that actually rewards playing and practicing and getting better at it. Nothing here feels really random. Probably could do with some random. Were there any extra balls in this? I don't remember seeing any in the table guide. Was there a random reward target? I don't think there was. this multi-ball. We have locked... Apparently we have not started multi-ball many times. Is this one of those multi-balls where you just keep adding balls? And you can do a 12-ball multi-ball or something if you lock 12 balls first? If that's the case, then I don't know how to start the multi-ball.
Keep on shooting!
Not that I'm a fan of anything beyond 3. 3 is enough. They don't seem to do anything crazy with the ball anyways, changing the color, making it glow, except for the storm hurry-up does change it, I suppose. It's hardly like the Guardians of the Galaxy where they have 5 unique balls representing each character. I guess since CastleStorm that probably wouldn't work that well.
Free me, Gareth!
Fine marksmanship, sire!
It's strange, there doesn't seem to be a jousting mission. So maybe there isn't jousting in CastleStorm. I wouldn't be surprised if there isn't.
On your signal, sire.
If this wasn't a licensed promotion of CastleStorm and was just a fantasy pinball,
Work of a skilled hand,
there would be more they could work with, I think.
maybe next one.
You could do like sword fighting, jousting,
Keep on shooting!
drinking contest,
Chain it up!
have several missions more. There is a very famous real-world pinball that has a castle in the middle of it with a ramp. What is it called? A bridge, and you have to lower the bridge and shoot the ball up through the bridge to lock multi-ball. And you can damage the castle on one side by doing something different. It's a very interesting table for the fact that it had this big mechanical toy in the middle of it.
Did you forget about me?
And it may have been one of the first pinball tables, if not the first pinball table, to have a toy in it. Or a custom toy. I'm trying here and failing. If this table was a little easier to accomplish its missions, I would enjoy it more.
Keep it in chains!
I just don't know how much an average pinball player would play these tables, or how much an average non-pinball player would play these tables. And I think there's probably a huge difference there. I think I'm probably giving it more than a fair shake by playing each table for an hour, whereas a lot of non-pinball players will say, well, even if I paid $3 for this pinball table in DLC, if I'm not having fun with it, I'll play 1 or 2 games and be done in 20 minutes. And then they'd probably be satisfied with that. It's not like you're really spending much more than what you would in an arcade.
Did you forget about me?
But that doesn't make this game, in general, Pinball FX, work. If the player doesn't want to ever touch your entire interface, but for maybe 20 minutes, if they only buy one table, you're not going to sell them on buying the other DLC. And that's really, I guess, what their goal is. I guess it would be what their goal is to convince, well, it should be their goal at least. It should be to convince people that they make good tables and that they should buy some of the other tables even if you're not that interested in it. For example, if you are a huge Star Wars fan and you buy Star Wars The Force Unleashed, maybe then you go back and buy the other Star Wars DLCs And
Our left is
if you,
fortified.
after you have all the Star Wars tables, maybe you say to yourself, what about the Marvel ones, and what about these other ones? Sadly,
To the left.
the truth is, we've hid probably 25% of the tables or more, and we've seen enough to stop that would have stopped me from buying any more DLC. And if I had just bought one table and it was awful and I wasn't trying to review them all, I probably would have stopped at that point.
Did you forget about me?
Now it stopped there. It wouldn't let me play any further. That's no fun. Having a quick multi-ball end is a terrible decision.
Sir Gareth.
It's just awful. I don't particularly ever enjoy when the flippers stop working. It makes me lose. But I understand it on tilt. Although, there is also an argument that since this isn't based on real-world pinball tables, maybe there shouldn't be a tilt by default either. That maybe it should just allow you to select an easy mode and say,
For the kingdom.
no tilt. You can bounce the ball as much as you want. That's not really going to change the gameplay that much.
Vikings!
Frankly, there's some gameplay modes here that could easily be added to a virtual pinball table that can't be added to real-world pinball, that has to make money back and pay for its maintenance and somewhat equally divide its attention amongst multiple people potentially wanting to play it. Like, if you put a free pinball table in an arcade, I could imagine somebody like me would sit there all day playing it. So putting a money limit on there then ensures only rich people like me would play the pinball table all day, and that's less likely to happen.
Ready, sire. For the king.
So,
Maybe next time. The dark forest is overflowing. Address this
like,
matter.
and
On fire.
a no ball loss mode, just always shoot again, infinite mode, score doesn't go to the
Keep on
leaderboard,
shooting.
would be very
Free me, Gareth!
much appreciated, but
Suck. Silly.
I don't know if there is a way to do that. I mean, we can constantly continue to play, but I can't play on
Perfect shooting.
the same game.
Our left is fortified. Our right is fortified.
Apparently our left and our right just got fortified.
Inspector, eh?
I don't know what I did to fortify them.
Sire.
There's far too many drop targets there. But instead of 7, you could have done it in 5 and had them a little bit wider.
Storm, hurry up!
That would have made it a little bit easier to pull this off. But in general, I'm still not really seeing anything wrong with this table. It seems like the angles are good, seems like the concept is good. It seems like they put some quality of testing in here. They
Storm,
still
hurry
show
up! End it!
a general
luck,
lack
sire.
of just understanding
Did you
how
forget about
how
me?
difficult the mission should be. It feels like they're making pinball tables for professionals that would probably never be interested in playing virtual pinball tables of tables they haven't played before anyways. So they may have the just completely wrong target market that they're aiming for.
Keep on shooting.
I hate to say it, but it sometimes feels like their target market is just
Perfect
suckers.
shooting.
People
No luck,
who will buy
sire.
a bunch of DLC before they even play the
Chain
game.
it up.
A bunch of people who are obsessed with Star Wars and Marvel. there's not very many other licenses you can get there. You're not going to get a Nintendo
Fine marksmanship,
license and get that on Steam, probably. There would be a Nintendo version of that. Same as with the Xbox, same as with the PlayStation. And there are some few tables that are exclusives like that. Maybe not Nintendo. I don't know if they ever made one for Nintendo. But then what do? Do you go the J.K. Rowling work and make 8 pinball tables for the 8 Harry Potter books, and then 5 pinball tables now for the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them?
Did you forget about me?
That would be extensive. Maybe you could get away with
Fine
that.
marksmanship, sire.
Do you do a Lord of the Rings? Do you do a
You are a
Chronicles of
true
Narnia?
hero.
Do you do James Bond license? If they could get these licenses, that would help them expand their tables a little bit, but I bet they can't get them. I wouldn't want to license my product, honestly, to the Zen. I'd rather go to Pinball Arcade and say, we want to do a license with you, even though you only make actual existing pinball tables. We would like you to make an exception because we think you do a better job of it. Now, that's kind of an unfair statement, though, because Pinball Arcade is just duplicating what someone else created. I don't know if Pinball Arcade has ever done a new pinball table, so they may do way worse than Zen has been doing.
Just a scratch.
In fact, it might be easier just to have the 2 remaining companies that are trying to design real-world pinball tables and have them design a real pinball table and sell it, which is kind of what they do. They do limited edition things, and then again, the time runs out, and then I can't continue playing, and that's annoying. Never stop the flow of the gameplay. Rule 2. I keep calling it Rule 2. I suppose Rule 1 is be fun, and more of the tables are violating that. There's a lot of things that could be Rule 1 too, like have a pinball, have flippers, have ramps, have targets. Be an actual pinball machine table.
For the king.
And not something completely different. Not a foosball table, not a
a
bumper pool table. So, am I doing skill shots or am I hitting the fire? Do I get points when I hit the fire, or is that a bad thing? I don't know. Some tables hitting the fire would be a good thing. Sometimes it would be a bad thing.
Did you forget about me?
Get them, sir. Chain it up.
Come on. I'd like to do the sheet mode, but I bet I'm not going to activate it. It's getting a little dull doing the same thing over and over again. And we failed to unlock a lot of missions. The game locks them automatically for me. So there's a lot here, I know, but frankly it doesn't matter.
Sire?
I'm not gonna see it. And I'm still getting 15-20 million, even though I'm not seeing 4 of the 5 missions, it seems.
Sire?
Our left is fortified.
How could you make a Castle Siege that was really about the castle and not about the units?
Sire?
Did you forget about me?
See, I'm thinking maybe you could do like a clicker game where you're building stronger castles, and then you click for resources by attacking other people's castles.
On fire!
But see, that would be very
Up in the
annoying.
skies! No!
It could be that it could be that there was one giant enemy with a magical castle. Wow. I've been playing 50 minutes. I guess that goes to say this table can't be that bad. But yeah, you can make like a game with a giant castle, and everybody's just slowly pickaxing and chiseling away at the bricks of the castle.
Maybe next time.
With every bit of mortar you get from the and rubble you get from that giant castle, you can reinforce your own castle, which then helps you get stronger at trying to defeat the giant castle. But I wouldn't want to do something where, like, after a billion clicks throughout the entire community, the game is over and you can't play it anymore. I would say it's just infinite, or an infinite string of different castles. You probably do a string of different castles, so after a week of playing or so, you would succeed and get the gold behind the castle. See there, I just created a game. And then I just told everybody about it, so if that game shows up, I thought of it first. I guess it's worth mentioning that Captain Sparkles, in his slightly distracted manner that I've started noticing, he does Minecraft YouTube mostly, but he also sells t-shirts and toys of his Minecraft character and has a music channel, and he partnered with somebody to promote / make this game called Fortress Fallout, and
Storm, hurry up!
it got a cease and desist from Bethesda for using the phrase Fallout, and why lawyers didn't tell him that in the first place, I don't know. He probably didn't talk to a lawyer or something. And so then it got changed to, I believe, Fortress Fury. And then about 2 months later, Fallout 4 was announced. So while it wasn't a clear and obvious evidence that Fallout 4 was coming, it was a little bit of a sneaky admittance to it.
Watch yourself.
Of course, even if they weren't making Fallout 4, they would have still sent the cease and desist. That's why there's really no evidence at all. And I think that's probably the biggest news as far as castle games that has happened in quite a long time. And then I think things like The Witcher, there definitely are castles in The Witcher, but they play very little part. And most
Did you forget about me?
big fantasy games aren't really going to be centered around the castle. You kind of always leave the castle to go on an adventure. Only the king gets stuck behind the castle walls and he's getting protected.
Storm, hurry up!
I wish the multi-ball was easier to start here. This is a game that feels like a multi-ball is just begging to happen.
Marksmanship, son. Perfect shooting.
You could have like a horse stables in the back where you lock in 3 balls. Although the under the ramp multi-ball lock is fine. I'm never getting that 3rd ball apparently. Trying to hit all these different ramps.
Keep on shooting.
Storm, hurry up! End it!
You are a true hero.
Viking Princess. There aren't too many Viking games.
Keep it in check.
So usually they go fantasy, but I guess technically this is more England versus the Vikings. This may be historical fiction more than actual fantasy. This is interesting. The game just kind of stuttered there for a second. I wonder what would have been the cause of that.
No luck, sire.
Storm, hurry up!
Oh, my hard drive's not filling up. That's always my first fear when the game starts to stutter out of the blue. That should be full. That is a problem that I have to check before I start recording, and I don't do it as well as often as I should.
Storm, hurry
Make
up!
sure
Ended!
I have enough space to actually record.
On your signal, sire.
Alright, so I need 7 more million in this game. Otherwise, I think we're just gonna end it at the end of this game. There's about 5 minutes until we win a full hour. And I think we're more and more just leaning towards doing 55-minute episodes instead of 60-minute episodes. I guess that's almost a 10% reduction in the length of them, but
Keep on shooting.
even this table that's pretty good. And I kind of question if maybe I just decided I was going to say it was good to prove the point or make a point that they would put more work into their own products than their licenses, but honestly I don't think that's the case, but I could be blinded by my own bias here. I'm kind of learning to hate Zen for their bad work. It's the right reason for a video game critic to hate a game company if they do bad work. Although it shouldn't be like this personal thing. Oh, it was completed and then it stopped. Well, I finally succeeded at that, and for succeeding at it, what did it do? It punished me and ended the game. Stupid decisions. Still very, very stupid decisions. As far as how the missions work. Anyway, so I got 17 million. That adds to the rest of my score, and now my super score is 1,231, which multiplies by the 26 tables we played now, and then that gives us a wizard score of 32,006. So, didn't get any of the achievements. That kind of shows that it's a little difficult of a table too. Would I want to go back and play that table? Probably not. I would definitely play it a lot more than a lot of the other tables, but I really don't have any desire for it. Playing this table in particular just makes me want to go play that real castle table, the real pinball table that has the castle in the middle of it. And I wish I could remember the names of these things, but they are so generic half the time. It could have been called Crusade or Knight or something like that, and I could be totally wrong. Let's see the all-time leaderboards. We have 5 billion, big old cheater here, 2 billion, 1 billion, and then 1 billion for the rest of it, or thereabout. And let's see, I wonder if this having your gamer tag as a website this is just advertising people. They figured out how to hack the leaderboard and cheat, and they put their website. Don't go to this website. It's probably a full of viruses or something, or a scam. Super score, full of cheaters still. 3 million, 2 million, then a sharp drop down to 400,000, and then a steady drop to number 8 of 100,000, and then Even number 9 and number 10 sharp drop from almost 100,000 to 74,000. Pinball Wizard, same as always. I'm at 32,000 now, so I am kind of wondering, 600,000 maybe? Maybe we'll get up to even a million on our Pinball Wizard score after we played all these tables. I wouldn't think I'm going to get much higher than that, but the math is hard for me to do in my head, so I don't know. Local high score, the top score was 5 million, so you could fill up this local high score pretty easily. A pretty easy game. No, top high score was 10 million with Lee right here. Missed him. Yes, you could fill that up. So, it does definitely feel like they spent more effort on there, but it still also feels like, in other ways, they're kind of clueless. They kind of don't have a clue at all what to do to make a good pinball table. So, next time we're going to try our luck again. We've gone through 5 Marvel tables, have not liked a single one. We're going to do Doctor Strange. The Doctor Strange movie is about to come out. I don't know too much about Doctor Strange. Let's see. If we do Doctor Strange and then Captain America, Fantastic Four, Civil War, Avengers, all of these right here are kind of, they should be good. I mean, those are, Captain America is a big ticket thing, Fantastic Four, Civil War, all big things for the next 4, so they have a good chance. That being said, it's not like Guardians of Galaxy was a small thing. It's not like Avengers of the Age of Ultron was a small movie. I can kind of understand Ant-Man being not that good. And then after we do Doctor Strange, the time after that, we'll do episode 4, A New Hope, which that also puts us in a good position, because if they're going to do episode 4 or A New Hope, that's probably going to have a little bit more work in it. And then episode 6 will probably have some more work on it. And then episode 5. Wait a minute. It's out of order. Oh. Ridiculous. Why do they put it in this disorder? How are they sorting? I wonder if this literally is just in the order of how I bought the DLC. That'd be ridiculous. Some of these other ones, like Boba Fett, is probably good, but I wouldn't be holding my breath for the Clone Wars or Darth Vader or Starfighter Assault in particular. That's probably, or Master of the Force. A lot of those probably have an opportunity for them to be cheap on that. Then the independent ones, let's see, we have Mistplosion Man, which is another licensed property, and then Earth Defense is just a new unique one. Mars is a new unique one. Excalibur is a new unique one. Paranormal is a new unique one. And Epic Quest, it very well may be a unique one. And see, that's kind of weird that they have this Epic Quest, and they probably made Epic Quest first, and then they come back and make CastleStorm, and those two are going to step on their toes a little bit. And we have a lot of unique ones here, so maybe we'll decide to space this out a little bit and come over here and do the Aliens Pinball and the Family Guy Pinball after Mistplosion Man, just so we keep it a little bit more varied here. Anyways, well, actually, what we'll probably do is we'll run out Star Wars, and then we'll do some of the alien ones. Anywho, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps out. If you want to support me further, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.